Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sent a cable of condolences to the custodian of the two holy mosques on the death of Prince Abdurrahman bin Saad Al Saud. A draft of the Pension and Social Protection System law to be forwarded to the Council of Ministers this month. And two agreements are signed to supply potable water to maritime islands in Musandam Governorate and to establish a water desalination plant in Al Ghubra in Muscat Governorate. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sent a cable of condolences to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, on the death of His Highness Prince Abdurrahman bin Saad bin Abdurrahman Al Saud. His Majesty the Sultan sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency Alexander Vučić, President of the Republic of Serbia, on re-electing him as President for another presidential term. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sent a similar cable to His Excellency Dr. Rodrigo Chávez, President of the Republic of Costa Rica, on him being elected as President of the Republic. The committee supervising on the project of preparing the pension and social protection system announced that the draft of pension and social protection system law will be forwarded to the Council of Ministers during the current month. The committee said that making the social protection system program is within its final stages. Besides, the main foundations of the pension system are also prepared. They will include a number of programs designed on the basis of national targets and within best practices that will be announced after the completion of their regulatory round. It added that the employees that met the pension rules within their current systems and completed 20 years starting from the date of issue of the social protection law have the right to retirement without sticking to the least number of service years required to be eligible to optional retirement, which is specified as 30 years in accordance with the Royal Decree number 33/2021 on the pension and social protection system. It clarified that the new pension system will ensure the pension amount for this category in accordance with the current systems until the date of issue of the social protection law. The committee also clarified that the social protection law will deal with the issues related to the number of service years between various sectors, part-time and permanent work contracts. The Oman Water and Wastewater Services Company signed two agreements to supply potable water to maritime islands in the Governorate of Musandam and establish a water desalination plant in Al Ghubra in Muscat Governorate. More details in the following report.
Around 68 marine villages in Musandam Governorate will be supplied with potable water, which is hoped to be produced from desalination units designed according to the highest standards and specifications, based on the agreement signed between Oman Water and Wastewater Services Company and the Flown Modern Enterprise Company to supply potable water to the maritime islands in the Governorate of Musandam.
The agreement, it will allow the government to secure water to this island. Currently, we are supplying these islands with the drinking water by using water barrage. But unfortunately, due to sea roughness and weather issues, sometimes these ships not able to reach to this island, which cause water shortage. But by this contract, which is signed today, we will secure water storage for minimum 7 days, and the contractor also designed the new water ships to work during rough seas.
The Oman Water and Wastewater Services Company signed another agreement with UTICO to establish a water desalination plant in Al Ghubra in Muscat Governorate by using reverse osmosis technology.
This contract is to build, own and operate 20,000 meter cubic a day of drinking water and send it or pump it to our main storage reservoir in Ghubra, and from Ghubra it will be pumped to main water grid to Muscat governorates. It will secure water and also make our system more resilience, and it will supply the water to whole governorate of Muscat.
The two agreements stem from the commitment of Oman Water and Wastewater Services Company to provide portable drinking water to citizens and residents within its geographical and natural conditions. The two awarded projects are expected to be completed in the fourth quarter of this year within the endeavors to accomplish water security in the country. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Salih Bukhalfan al-Rahbi, Muscat.
His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed al-Saidi, Minister of Health, presided over a meeting held to discuss the epidemiological situation of disease transmitters in the Sultanate of Oman. The meeting affirmed that 76 cases of dengue fever were registered in the Sultanate of Oman due to Aedes aegypti mosquito, which appeared in Muscat Governorate and reached South and North Al-Batina governorates. The Ministry of Health and the governorates municipalities will carry out campaigns to get rid of this mosquito, which also transmit other diseases such as yellow fever. The meeting discussed the epidemiological situation of dengue fever and malaria, the results of the entomological investigation at the national level, the current field situation of the geographical spread of Aedes aegypti mosquito, and the distribution of cases in Muscat Governorate, in addition to discussing the roles of various entities in order to unify efforts towards the eradication of this mosquito. The Directorate General of Health Services in the Governorate of Muscat, in cooperation with the Muscat municipality, launched a campaign to combat the Aedes aegypti mosquito. The campaign will last until the end of the current month. It will include holding of an exhibition to shed light on the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which transmits dengue fever disease, and it will also focus on the efforts exerted to combat and follow up on the places of this mosquito's existence in the Governorate of Muscat. The campaign also stresses on the importance of cooperation among the bodies concerned and the community to get rid of this mosquito. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources started today an aerial spraying campaign to combat the Dobas palm bug in some governorates of the Sultanate of Oman. The campaign comes to reduce the economic damage caused by the palm Dobas blight, gradually eliminate it and reduce its effects on palm trees and intercropping. The aerial spray campaign will be carried out tomorrow in North Al-Sharqiyya Governorate and in some villages in the wilaya of Bidbid. It will continue until the 11th of April. G7 foreign ministers and NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg were meeting in Brussels today to discuss sanctions and economic pressure against Russia. Today, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called for sanctions on all Russian banks and a ban on Russian ships from entering ports as a way of hindering Russia's ability to finance the war. Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24th in an escalation of the conflict that began in 2014. The G7 ministers meeting on the sidelines of NATO talks in Brussels said they are taking further steps to expedite plans to reduce their reliance on Russian energy and will work together to this end. Western nations have already slapped several rounds of sanctions on Russia, including on President Vladimir Putin, his family and associates, but have been reluctant to hit the country's energy sector. Rescue workers combed through the rubble of destroyed apartment blocks searching for bodies in the town of Borodyanka, 60 kilometers from the capital Kiev today. Mine disposal units were also working nearby amid police fears that people could be buried under the debris. Ukraine's emergency services shared video footage showing the scale of the destruction in the town. Borodyanka was under Russian occupancy and is now back under the Ukrainian flag. Russia's 6-week-long military operation has so far forced over 4 million to flee abroad, killed or injured thousands, left a quarter of the population homeless, turned cities into rubble, and prompted a slew of Western restrictions on Russian elites and the economy. A female Egyptian artist has merged folk art with traditional water containers in producing handmade decorative lanterns during the Islamic holy month of Ramadan. Here is a report.
Egyptians celebrate by purchasing lanterns to garnish their houses, streets and neighborhoods during the holy month of Ramadan. The country used to import millions of US dollars worth of lanterns. In recent years, however, a government's ban on lantern imports had seen scores of Egyptian artists turn to making them domestically. Abir Antar, an Egyptian artist, turned part of her house into a workshop to unleash her innovative instincts. She tailored cloth, painted, and lately she discovered her talent in making Ramadan-inspired items. She merged traditional Egyptian water containers with Oriental art in making lanterns this year.
I use kula, which in our folklore is how people used to drink water. It's made from clay and is said to purify water and keeps it cool, way before fridges were made. It's not commonly used here anymore, except as a decorative item in homes.
Lanterns have made associated with Ramadan in Egypt since the Fatimid Caliphate more than 1,100 years ago. Nowadays, lanterns are common gifts for children in the holy fasting month. In order to spread the joyful spirit of Ramadan, Abir tries to make each lantern special.
The past 2 years were very slow in sales because of the COVID-19 pandemic. That preserved the lanterns stocks we had. We didn't increase lantern prices this year, and because of that we are seeing strong sales. I expect within a week all lanterns at wholesalers will be sold out. However, we've recently started to export our lanterns to Italy and UAE.
Egypt used to import 15 million US dollars worth of lanterns every year. In 2015, the country banned importing lanterns in efforts to save foreign currency, which has created a boom in domestic production, with every producer and artist trying to stand out with new designs every year.
This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main headlines once again. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sends a cable of condolences to the custodian of the two holy mosques on the death of Prince Abdulrahman bin Saad Al Saud. A draft of the Pension and Social Protection System law to be forwarded to the Council of Ministers this month. And 2 agreements are signed to supply potable water to maritime islands in Musandam Governorate and to establish a water desalination plant in Al Ghubra in Muscat Governorate. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night and stay safe.